Indeed, as soon as morning dawned, they made their way to the wise man. The old man received them calmly and listened to their story. When they showed him the box and the paper with the symbols on it, the wise man's eyes widened. He took the box with trembling hands and examined the inscriptions. Then he raised his head and said,
This is the language of a very ancient people. I cannot read it, but—
The wise man fell silent. Then he rose, went to an old shelf, and took out a worn-out book. He leafed through it for a moment, then said,
I have an old book here, and perhaps we will find in it something that explains these symbols.
The wise man bent over the book and began to mumble incomprehensible words. An hour passed that felt like an age. Then the wise man suddenly raised his head and looked at them, his face pale. He said in a trembling voice,
What is written here surpasses your worst nightmares. This is not just a monster, but an ancient curse, a weapon that turned on its creators. And it can only be conquered by—
The wise man stopped abruptly, his eyes wide with terror, leaving Hamid and Amer suspended between hope and fear. The light!
The light! It can only be conquered by the light.
Then he began to read to them what he had managed to translate of the inscriptions on the box, which was a warning message from a man named Idris ibn Hayyan.
The wise man completed his sentence in a faltering voice. It can only be conquered by the light. Then he began to read to them what he had managed to translate of the inscriptions on the box, which was a warning message from a man named Idris ibn Hayyan. Idris wrote, I am Idris ibn Hayyan, and this is a warning. Do not open this box, even if your life depends on it. It is a creature that knows nothing but blood. It will possess the body of whoever releases it, and wreak havoc on the earth with murder and destruction. It is a dark creature that can only be conquered by light. It was a weapon for us against our enemies, but it turned on us. So here I am, imprisoning it in a bottle. Do not release it, for then you would be wrongdoers.
Upon hearing these words, the eyes of Hamid and Amir ibn Hashim lit up. The picture was clear now.
So the shepherd Masood?
Yes, the monster has possessed him. He is the one who released it, and he is now a vessel for that creature. We must cut the bond between them to save the shepherd, and God knows if he will survive and to defeat this monster.
On the same day, before darkness fell, Hamid and Amer went and stood at a distance from the front of the cave. With the first threads of night, the stone moved, and the monster appeared in its hideous form. As soon as the monster saw them, it charged after them. The two friends began to execute the first part of their plan, and they set off, riding their horses. When they reached the entrance of the village, each of them went in a different direction. The monster hesitated for a moment, then decided to pursue Amer, who was closer and who began to provoke it with deliberate movements. Amer ibn Hashim rode into the narrow alleys, with the monster closing in on him. When he neared the village square, which was the agreed-upon place for the trap, the monster managed to scratch the horse's leg with its claws. The horse stumbled, and Amer ibn Hashim fell to the ground. He quickly rose and grabbed his sword. The monster began to approach him slowly, its long tongue sticking out. Here, Amir's heart almost stopped. The monster was approaching him, its saliva drooling as it waited to tear him apart. He spoke in a voice that could barely come out.
Oh, Lord.
At that crucial moment, Hamid's voice boomed from nearby, addressing the monster.
Burn, you accursed one!
He skillfully shot a flaming arrow, which landed between the monster and Amer, igniting a circle of tar and oil that Amer and Hamid had secretly prepared. A great fire erupted, surrounding the monster. The monster was taken by surprise and looked around in panic. Hamid and Amer began to hear loud and terrifying screams from the monster. It seemed as if the glowing light from the flames was peeling off its black skin. Little by little, a pale human skin began to appear, and then the entire black layer turned into a viscous liquid resembling molten silver. At that decisive moment, and with the speed of lightning, Hamid leaped with his horse, breaking through the circle of fire. He was wearing thick gloves, and in his hand was a small bottle with a narrow neck. With great care, Hamid began to collect the silvery liquid inside the bottle, as Idris ibn Hayyan had written in his book. After some time, as the villagers gathered, the fires died down, and in the middle of the square, a person was lying on the ground, unconscious, but breathing. A cry rang out from one of the assembled villagers. "It's Masood!" All the villagers cheered at the sight of the shepherd Masood, who had been missing, and whom the villagers had considered one of the monster's victims. He slowly began to regain consciousness. The people of the village gathered to witness this event. Shouts of joy erupted when they saw the shepherd alive. His wife and children rushed to him. When the evening of the next day arrived, the shepherd Masood was sitting in Amer's house, having regained some of his strength after calming down a bit. Hamid, Amer, and the wise man were present with him. Masood began, in a low and trembling voice, to recount his terrifying and confused memories. He spoke of taking refuge in the cave to escape a storm, then of the treasures that tempted him to enter, and of the old box he found. He described how he opened the deceptively beautiful glowing bottle, and how the liquid inside attacked him when he touched it, and the cold, frightening feeling that overcame him as something crept into his body and took control of his will. His words were halting, indicating the intensity of the terror he had faced, and his eyes told a story of horror that could not be described, while those present listened to him with great sympathy and interest. On that same day, the people of the village thanked Hamid and Amer. They held a great celebration and gave them a generous share of the cave's treasures. As for the bottle containing the essence of the monster, it was carefully buried in a secret and deep place, far away in the desert. After a few days, the two friends, Hamid and Amer, met to bid each other farewell.
O Amir, my journey in search of knowledge is long, and I need a courageous friend like you. Will you accompany me, and we shall seek knowledge together?
Yes, Hamid, I will accompany you. You are a true friend.
Hamid was overjoyed at his friend's agreement. And so, the two friends set off together, Hamid the scholar and Amer ibn Hashim the knight, driven by hope and a passion for knowledge. We will meet again with Hamid and Amer in other exciting stories.